Hi, welcome back to another episode of Baking Geek. Okay, today we're going to make focaccia. I've been on the bread trail lately, so excuse me. I've been making tons of bread at home lately. The other half's quite sick of it. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, everyone loves focaccia. I've been giving it away to my neighbours and they seem to like it. So, and the ciabatta recipe that I put on YouTube as well, it has actually done quite well. So I thought, yeah, what the hell, let's do some more bread. Okay, so we're talking focaccia. All right, let's get right into it. You can use sourdough for this, or you can not. It doesn't matter, okay? All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to... okay, I'll chop my head off there. I'll just tilt it up a little, folks. Okay. That didn't go anywhere. There we go. Okay. First thing we're going to do is weigh our flour. I'm actually lucky I've got a scale built into this set of... into this mixer. So we're going to go 400 grams of flour. There we go, almost there. 400, come on, give it to me. There we go, right, okay. And I've been using good quality sea salt, okay, so we're going to go 7 grams of sea salt into that 400 grams. It brings it in around about 1.9%. I like to stick around the 2% sort of ratio when it comes to bread. For some reason, it toughens the gluten, it retards the yeast well. Anything over, you wouldn't go over 2%, so we're keeping it under. Yeah, so 1.9 roughly. Seven grams, beautiful. Now, as I stated in previous videos, I use these little 7-gram packets of yeast, but one of these little packets it'll last forever. Like, I only really use, like, if I needed this quickly, I'd use maybe about 2 grams of it, but seeing I don't, and we're going to have this for dinner, I'll probably use about 1 gram. It's as little as that. And I'll also pump some sourdough culture into that just to push that flavour out. Okay, so literally I'm just going to give it a sprinkle. Of this packet, there you go, I may as well use the last of it. There you go, that's probably close, yeah, that was 2 grams actually, guys. Anyway, we'll put that away, that away, that away. The other thing you want with your focaccia is you want olive oil. So we're going to go 20 grams of olive oil. 20, beautiful. Oh, that's right. I'm just going to pump some of that into it. What do no. I'll also weigh the water, folks. I think I've mentioned this in previous episodes where I'll just get some water. I'm not very trusting of measuring devices, so I'll always weigh the water. We're going to go 320 grams of water in there. Which one? Yeah, beautiful. There we go. I'm also just going to pop, if you're going to add sourdough, this is where you'd add it. There we go. A little bit of that. In there. There we go. Beautiful. Now we're going to mix that for about 5 minutes. Like the other video, I'm doing something a little bit unconventional. I'm using a beater. I'm not using a dough hook. It does tend to work much quicker and give you the results faster, basically, and that's what we're after. All right, so let's drop it in the mix. Let's clean that off in there. Right, just combine it slowly first and then bump it up to, I'll mix it on 2nd gear. There we go. All right, I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Okay guys, it's been about 5 minutes and you'll see the dough start to pull away from the side of the bowl and start to get towards the beater, and that's when you know it's time to pull it off. We'll be actually developing it a little bit later as well. We're giving it some rest and then we're going to come back to it and give it a series of folds, and then we're just going to knock it out because it's only focaccia. You can use this as your pizza dough. It'll work exactly the same, okay? There we go. Okay. So that's what you want. You want a nice stretchy sort of looking dough. This is a high hydration dough. I believe we're right up into the 90% range when you consider the olive oil content that's gone into it as well. Okay, so let's clean the beater off. And I've lined a container, this plastic container like this. You want to go get one. They're only about $10, but I've actually lined it with olive oil as well. Okay, and just dump the whole lot in there. What we're going to do is we're going to rest that in there for a couple of hours, or if you want to knock this out quick, you can just go to add more yeast basically. Right. Anyway, that's going to be that, and we'll come back to it in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. See ya. Okay folks, we're back. So, sorry there, I'm just going to wet the hands down. Right, so grab yourself a set of wet hands, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this dough through a bit of a folding process, and that in itself is going to build strength and build up that nice bubbly texture that we get inside the focaccia. Okay, so there we go. We're just going to fold it like that, slap and fold. There we go. That's looking beautiful. Now it should be standing up really nice like that now. And we're going to rest that for another half hour, and we're going to do that twice more before we flatten them out and start topping them. Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Okay, we're back. We've already done one fold. We're going to do a second fold. So the dough is really starting to rise nicely now. You can see that. So we're just going to pick it up, lift it down like that. Just fold it over in on itself. You can use wet hands or you can use oily hands. It doesn't really matter at this point. But you can already see that the structure is really starting to gather there. And we're starting to get some nice bubbly sort of texture. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so we're back. We're going to give it our third and final fold. And then we're going to shape the dough. And we're going to use a pan today. If you don't have pans, you can use a tray with some baking paper on. That's fine. But I want actually a bit of a deep dish focaccia. All right, so I'm just going to give this a final folding. And that will do. We don't want to overwork it at this stage. We've got some nice structure and some nice bubbling happening there. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to halve this dough. That looks to be about half. And we're just going to plop it literally into the tray. And get rid of that one over there. Right. So now that we're into the tray, even though this is Teflon line, like I said, we're going to use some olive oil to push it out. So use your fingers, don't be afraid. It's sort of almost like a docking procedure with the dough. So if you know what a docker is, it's sort of like one of these spiky things. There we go. Anyway, let's get into that. We're going to push it out right into the corners. There we go. Because the dough's very strong at this point, it'll want to shrink back a little bit. That's okay. Give it a couple of minutes, go back to it and push it out again. Right. There we go. Right into the corners. There we go. So you've got a nice coating of olive oil all over. And what I've done earlier is I've pre-prepared some ingredients. Here we go. Okay, so I normally start with the, I'll get rid of that for a sec. Normally start with the onions. So what you can use as little or as much ingredients at this stage as you want. You can just use olives or bit of dill, rosemary, doesn't really matter at this point. Parsley. You can chuck literally anything on this focaccia. And we're going to do it sort of a bit of a pizza style, so we're using onion. Got the other one here too. And it just has to be random, just chuck it all over the place. And we've got some capsicum here, which is going to go down really nicely. And I've got some cherry tomatoes that I've sort of chopped up. You're going to get that really nice sort of pizzeria sort of smell to it. There we go, and we've got some olives. Just sprinkle them about as well. Okay, that's that. Right. I'll grab another piece off of that one. Okay, bit more for there, yeah. Right. With the olives. There we go, so that's a fairly well dressed focaccia. It's got quite a bit in it. There we go, you can have a good look at it. Alright, so it's coated in olive oil, the dough. That's important because when it bakes, you want it to be soft. You don't want it to be crunchy like a ciabatta or something like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a bit of a makeshift prover. So what I mean by that is I'm going to fill this container with hot water, and it's just going to add a little bit of heat to the bottom of the dough. It's going to help to make it rise. In about 30 minutes, we're going to pop these in the oven. So I've got it there. I've got the two focaccias. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to lay a little bit of Glad wrap over the top of them, just to keep them nice and moist, stop them drying out. And that is literally it. We're going to come back in half an hour, turn your oven on right now, and we're going to chuck a couple of ice cubes in the oven, help with that steam. We're going to add some some really nice cracked sea salt all over the top of it. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, see you in about half an hour. Bye. Okay, we're back. So it's been about 30 minutes, I'd say, of final proof. So we've got the ingredients on top of the focaccia. It's looking really good, and they've filled out the pans nicely. So we're just going to take that Glad wrap off. I could have added this earlier, which is like a little bit of rosemary I like to add as a bit of a final touch sort of thing. And just like before, it's totally random. And the last thing that you're going to put on there is some really nice sea salt. It's going to be beautiful, right? Trust me. So you want to crush that sea salt up between your fingers and just sprinkle it all over. And everyone's going to get a really nice salty hit sort of at the end. There we go. That's looking fantastic. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the oven, but I'm going to throw in a couple of ice cubes just so it steams it right up, and I get that really nice lift, and we'll end up with a nice bubbly texture inside, and the whole house is going to smell like pizza, basically. All right, I'll be back in a sec. Right, so I've got about 3 ice cubes here. I'm going to chuck them in the oven straight away. Right, and load the pans in. And I'm going to give it a final hit of steam, okay? There we go, done. We'll see that in about 30 minutes. I'll be back. I'll show you the final result. Okay, bye. Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes on around about 240 degrees. Yeah, it's exactly 240 degrees. All right, so I'm going to pull these things out of the oven. We're going to have a look, okay? Let's get some. You need yourself a couple of good wires. Watch out for the steam when you open the oven. Whew. There we go. Right, in we go. There we go, that's one. That's two, obviously. There we go, folks. That's the way they look. They smell gorgeous. Yeah, like I said, the whole house smells like pizza. It's fantastic. It's give it a go. It's a beautiful recipe. You can use it for pizza. You can even do ciabatta out of this recipe. It is basically the same hydration dough as a ciabatta. Yeah, it's looking fantastic. Like I said, bit of ham in the middle, some onion, caramelized onion relish, something like that, and bit of cheese. Heaven. All right, folks. See you next time. Bye.